My name is Ann Marie Sorrell, President and CEO of the Mosaic Group. I am also the author of Chronicles of a Serial Dater, the hot new release, talking about the art of creating a contagious brand. Some people think that branding is only creating a nice logo. Well, that's a part of it, and that's one of the first things with branding is creating an identity. Understanding that branding is first about identity is the primary focus. It takes a couple of things. Who do you want to be, and what do you want to be known for? Even when creating a logo, your logo has to tell a story. For example, I don't know if you can see my company logo, the Mosaic Group, but I'll bring it in a little bit closer to the camera so you can see our logo. And of course, you can go to our website, which is mosaicgroup.co, not .com, .co, and you can see the brand. That brand tells a story. And the story is that when I think of a mosaic, and when I thought about even naming the company, I wanted something that was inclusive, yet diverse. I wanted something that showed that we did work with multiple people from different backgrounds, different races, different incomes, different communities, geographical locations, as well as industry. And so when I thought about a mosaic brings different elements, colors, and shapes together. And so I said, that is what Mosaic does. We bring people, places, events, and opportunities together. And so we took it a step further. And so with this recent brand change, you can see that there are different colors of the spectrum. If you're in marketing and communications, you understand that one of the basic things about marketing and creating a brand is the color spectrum. So the color spectrum starts with the basic colors of like the rainbow: purple, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. Importantly, in this particular logo, there's different waves of connections. And so the different color spectrums connect from lighter to darker shades. And so that means that we represent diverse ethnicities. We represent diverse companies. We're not stagnant, we're fluid. So we're constantly growing, we're constantly moving. And this logo shows movement. So as you can see, our brand has a story to tell. So when you're looking at developing your identity for your company or for yourself, you want it to have a story. You want it to show something about you. And when someone says, well, why did you choose that logo? Or what does this mean? You want it to be able to express what the meaning of it is. And so I've just given you an example here. Now, even my personal brand, when I was creating AnnMarieSorrell.com, which I'm launching my new website June 1st, which you'll be able to learn everything about me and all the great things that I'm working on, all of the different entrepreneurial ventures that I have, my activism, my modeling, my book. Everything will be in one place. So that's June 1st, and it's AnnMarieSorrell.com. So what I did was I looked at, and if you look at my book, and you look at anything moving forward, even my banners back here, you'll see the signature with basically, it's not my exact signature because, of course, I wouldn't want people to be able to duplicate my exact signature, but it is somewhat similar to my signature. And so I wanted it to show me. I love my signature. I love the fluidness of it. Again, I'm always moving. So this brand, my signature, shows movement. It shows the ups and downs because in my life I've been through many ups and downs, and I'm sure it's not going to stop today. But I keep going. So it kind of has this like infinity, keep going type thing that's tailored off at the end. So, but either way, it still tells a story. It tells my story. So that's the first thing with branding. Get an identity that tells your story. Everything from colors to shapes to fonts and what type of font you want. Do you want a strong, bold font, or do you want something that's a little more subtle? Do you want a sexy font? What type of font do you want? Those are all important things when you're considering just the identity of your brand. With that being said, I would say this too. Invest in getting a designer to help you create your brand. So many times I see brands that are created and they look like they came off of clip art. And you don't want something that just looks like it came from clip art or it came from Vistaprint. Nothing wrong with Vistaprint or clip art, but if you're really trying to create what we're talking about, a contagious brand, then you want to, thank you, Trinette, that's with 2 L's. You want to have a professional help you create that brand. Get a really good graphic designer, someone that has a reputation of creating good brands. I know there's a lot of people out there that think they know how to use Photoshop right now and think that they're graphic designers, or it might be your cousin or whoever. And that's fine if you want to give them a chance. But I would say if you're trying to really create a great brand, invest in it and get a professional who's been doing this for a while and who has the creativity that you need to bring your identity to life. So that's the first thing with the identity. The second thing is messaging. So it's very important that with your brand you have a message. So it can be a tagline or it can be an introduction, like a very quick introduction. Think about Twitter, 140 characters. So for the Mosaic Group, our tagline is your visibility team. We actually have 2 kind of taglines. Our first tagline when we first started out, the first 6-7 years, is bringing people, places, and events together. Now, we still use that because that is the basis of Mosaic, bringing people, places, events, and opportunities together. So we use that as a part of our messaging. But what we discovered is that when we were working with clients, they would often think that we were going to make the sale for them. And we're not into making the sale for you. We are into helping you be visible. We're putting you in the right place. We're putting you in front of your audience so that way you can make the sale. And so what we did was we created a tagline that said, your visibility team. So we're the team that help you increase your visibility, increase your credibility, reach mass audiences. That's what we do. We're a visibility team. So thinking of what your tagline is going to be is very important because you may have a name that no one really knows what it is that you do. And so having a tagline that kind of explains it a little bit, but not too much. Now I see some taglines that's overboard and very long. You want to keep it to where it's no more than maybe 5 words. So 3 to 5 words is where you want to keep your tagline. Then you have maybe a brief statement. So again, like bringing people, places together. Or with my book, I have Chronicles of a Serial Dater. So when people say, what's Chronicles of a Serial Dater, I came up with something that was really short and succinct. A journey through the good, bad, funny, hot and steamy of dating and relationships. And typically when people hear it, they're like, oh, okay, I need to check that out. But it's really to the point. It tells you exactly what it is, and it piques the interest. So you want to create a short message about your brand and what it is, and that it'll pique someone's interest. So that's very important. The other piece when it comes to branding, so we talked about creating an identity, talked about creating messaging. So now it's going to be about consistency. Branding and marketing is all about repetition, recognition. I know that to become a household name as an author, that I'm going to have to develop more product. And so I'm going to have to work on writing more books and putting them out on a consistent basis. I can't take as long as I took to put this one out to do the next one. Literally, the next one should be out within 6 to 12 months maximum. So it's always going to be about repetition. So I'll give you an example. When people try to do a direct mail piece, for example, I have clients that say, well, I want to do a mailer to 20,000 people. And I say to them every time, I said, well, how often are you going to do this mailer? And I said, well, just one time. I said, well, one time is not going to get their attention. If you're going to get someone's attention, they need to see something at least 3 times before it kind of sticks in their head. So even when we have an event for internally, I make sure that our logo is seen at least 3 times. There's a power in the number of 3. And I make sure our logo is seen at least 3 times. And those 3 times includes when you come to registration, you're probably going to see a sign that has the Mosaic name and logo. My staff is going to have a branded shirt on, polo shirt or whatever, that's going to have a Mosaic logo. You're going to probably get a business card that's going to have a Mosaic logo. So that's already 3 times that you've seen this logo, right? And then there's a website and everything else, and then once I get you on my communication list, you'll probably start receiving emails with what we have coming up and all of our events and activities and information about our clients. So now you're going to see the consistency and the repetitiveness. You know how many times I go out somewhere and I say, oh yeah, I'm with the Mosaic Group. And they say, oh, I've seen that. Or, oh, I get your emails. Or, oh, I've heard about you guys. It's because of the repetition and the recognition. So I go back to the mass mailing example, and if you are going to do a mailer, well, you have to mail something to someone at least 3 times before you get their attention, especially with mail now, because most people don't, they just look to the mailbox for their bills, if that. A lot of people do bills through their emails and online. So folks are just not checking the mail like that as much anymore. So you have to be conscious of that and say, okay, well, when do I do this mailer? Well, don't do it during political season because it's going to be bogged down with everything else that's going to go out with the trash. That's one thing. But the point is that you have to do it at least 3 times because the first time someone gets a piece of mail, they're going to be like, oh, okay, they're going to toss it. The second time they get that piece of mail, they'll say, all right, I got this in it. They may read it a little bit more, and then they toss it. Typically, by the 3rd time they get a piece of mail, they're going to stop and say, all right, let me pay attention to what this is, read it, and then see if it's important to it. And if you have the call to action, maybe they'll take action, or maybe they'll toss it again, and maybe they'll look for another mail piece. So that's the other piece. So consistency, repetition, recognition is the first thing. And then consistency is the next thing. So when I did a photo shoot for this book, and I wanted to create an author photo. I wanted a photo that was just not for the book, but I wanted a photo that I could use literally on everything. So even my picture, this picture right back here, is a part of my brand. And I wanted it to be consistent. So you'll notice that literally anything that I've put out since February, any place that I'm speaking, with an exception of some of the business events that I'm invited to speak at, with like the Chamber of Commerce and those places. But for the most part, anything I'm putting on social media, anything I'm putting out for my book, any speaking engagements that I'm doing, this is the official photo. So I have an official photo. Most entertainers, most celebrities, political officials, they have an official photo. So I encourage you, as a part of your brand, go and get a professional photo taken and make that your official photo. Again, repetition, recognition. The more people see this, the more you become recognized. Now, if I'm just putting out different random photos, then people, of course, for me, it's a little different because I have a bald head, so people will recognize that. That's a part of my brand as well. So it's who I am. It's what you see, what you get. It's a part of my brand. However, the photo also helps. It's a great photo. It's bright. It looks friendly and open. Hopefully it looks fun. I don't know. I'll get your feedback on that. But you want to get a photo that can go with your brand as well. So when people see you, they recognize you. They recognize the photo. They've seen it time and time again. So that's important. And then let's talk about, from another part of consistency with your brand, what's very, very important is quality. So whether you're providing a service, whether you have a product that people are purchasing, or if you're a motivational speaker, or whatever it is that you do, you want to make sure that you do it with quality and that you do it with excellence and professionalism. And you want to be consistent with that professionalism, with that spirit of excellence, and with the quality. Because that is very important. The minute that it's so easy it's very difficult to build a brand and to build it for the masses that people are going to recognize. But what is easy is tearing that brand apart. You can take 10 years to build a great brand, and one incident, one dissatisfied customer, one moment of not giving your 1,000% can tear that reputation and that brand apart. Think about United Airlines, for example. United Airlines Airlines was a great brand. But that one incident with them dragging somebody off the plane has literally tarnished their brand. Now, will people continue to fly United? Yes, some people will. However, they will be forever remembered as the brand that drugged somebody off the plane, bloodied up and everything. They'll be forever remembered as a company that was abusive to its customers. So it's very important that you pay attention to what you're putting out about your brand, as well as the quality, the professionalism, the customer service. Everything has to be in line. And then the last piece that I will talk about before I go into the questions that's on here is that invest in your brand. Continuously invest in your brand. So, for example, when I finally released my book, I said, okay, how else am I going to create how else am I going to promote this book? How can I make sure that people continue to recognize Chronicles of a Serial Dater? So I got pens that says Serial Dater. I have bookmarks that say Serial Dater. I have a Serial Dater survival kit, which is this little pouch with some great contents in it. It's always a surprise. I won't give the surprise factor away. I have t-shirts, both screen print and blinged out t-shirts that I sell. And I have some other things that I'm working on that will also be a part of the brand for Chronicles of a Serial Dater. And so it's not just about the book, but I wanted it to become serial dater. I wanted it to become something that people own, because a lot of people are serial daters, but they don't want to admit it. But my thing is, if you're single and you're still dating and looking for that special someone, and you're on to the next, if it doesn't work out with the one before, then you're probably a serial dater. So I want you to own your serial daterness. And in order for people to own their serial dater in them, they have to, have the items to go with it. So the pens, the mints, the cans of mints, the t-shirt, whatever that is. So it's all about the branding and repetition, recognition, and being consistent, and also making sure that whatever it is that I am either giving to people as a promotional piece or that I'm selling to people, that it's also quality. So even in my writing needed to be quality. So I'm going to go into questions. So we have some questions here. Let me start at the top. Let's see. And I'll say hello to a few people if you're still tuned in. Rhonda, Angie, Shanitria. Let's see. Okay, so the question we have is, I'm just going through everything. Okay, how often should you update photos like headshots? Typically in the industry of like modeling, photos and headshots should be updated every 6 months. But if you're not a model, I would say at least once a year. So once a year. If you have something like a book, like I have a book now, so the book is probably going to take about a year to really, really take off, because I'm self-publishing and I'm doing all the marketing by myself. So this photo will probably be about 2 years before I change it out, only because I still want to do these promos or whatever. So put it this way, by the time I launch the next book, I'll have a new photo. So if you're not a model, you would want to update your photo at least every couple of years. No, I wouldn't go past 2 years. So every 2 years, get a new headshot, refresh it, but at least keep it consistent for at least a year, but no more than 2 years. But if you are a model or in the acting industry, then you want to do it every 6 months. Let's see, we have, can you rebrand and release a book? Yes, absolutely. So for the past 11 years, most people have known me by either the volunteer work I do in the community or through my company, the Mosaic Group. So I have been Mosaic for the longest. And I had a business partner, so we were Mosaic for the past 11 years. And so one of the things I knew, especially with releasing this book, that I needed to do was rebrand myself and not just be Ann Marie the Mosaic Group. I wanted to make sure that I had a clear identity of just Ann Marie Sorrell. This is who I am. However, yes, I am president of the Mosaic Group. Yes, I am an author. Yes, I am a community activist. These are all things that I do, but they are not who I am. And so when I released the new brand, Ann Marie Sorrell, thus the signature that you see here, the new website you're going to see, you will see all the things that I do, but they're not who I am. Who I am is I'm a person who just connects things. I'm a person who's an entrepreneur. I'm a person who's a lover of people. Those are the things and so many other things that make me who I am, make me the brand that I am. So I am rebranding myself as we speak, as a published author, as a speaker, as an expert when it comes to not just dating relationships, but marketing and business and entrepreneurship. So those are the pieces. So yes, you can rebrand yourself, and you can release a new book, and you can either release the book as a part of your personal brand or create a brand for the book as well. I've created a brand for the book, and then I have my personal brand as well. So yes. Let's see. How much more time do we have? I don't even know what time it is. Yes, so not just as a company, as a personal brand. So not just as a company, as a personal brand, you can continue to brand yourself. So I'll do a quick wrap-up summary. For creating a contagious brand, what is your brand identity? Okay, what is not just your logo? When you're creating your logo, what does that logo represent? Does it tell a story? Does it represent you? Does it represent your product? Does it represent your service? Make sure it tells a story. Make sure it's professional and it's appealing to the eye. It has great colors. All those different things make up a great identity. So, and hire a professional to create your logo. Please, I can't stress that enough. Hire someone who has the experience. The second thing is repetition, recognition. Before repetition, recognition. Creating your message. What does your brand say to people? What does it say about you? What does it say about the product? What does it say about the service? Do you have a tagline? Make sure that tagline is short and to the point and tells the customer or the consumer exactly what your brand is about. Then do you have a message to go with it? Do you have a short 140 word or 140 character message, or a 15 second, 30 second pitch that you can talk about with your brand and what it is? Then consistency and repetition and recognition. Repetition, recognition, making sure that your brand is recognized and you're putting it everywhere. Making sure your social media platforms are set up. So what you will notice is that Ann Marie Sorrell is at Twitter, at Facebook, on Instagram, and I have 2 Instagram pages. It's A Sorrell 15, and then it's A Marie Sorrell. Somebody somehow took Ann Marie Sorrell. I'm still trying to figure out who that is, unless I created one and forgot about it. I don't know. But for the most part, Instagram, not Instagram, but Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all is under Ann Marie Sorrell, and then AnnMarieSorrell.com. If you haven't purchased your domain name, make sure you purchase your domain name. That's also very important. I didn't mention that earlier, because you never know when you're going to need to use it, or if you need to set up your new website, which AnnMarieSorrell.com launching June 1st. So make sure you do that as well. And you'll see, even with the book, Chronicles of a Serial Dater, chroniclesofaserialdater.com. Every social media, Facebook, Twitter, Facebook and Instagram is Chronicles of a Serial Dater, and then Twitter is Serial Dater AMS. So it still has some consistency, it still has some repetitiveness to it. So repetition, recognition is important, and then consistency is important. And I think we have some other, let's see, what are some, okay, do you use Facebook ads or social media ads to build your business? visibility. Absolutely. Facebook ads are and social media ads are very important. So there's organic posts that you post every day, and that needs, or every week, or however often. You want to be consistent with that. I have to be a little bit more consistent myself with some of my postings. And then, yes, I do utilize the ads, especially for our company and clients, where we're trying to get people to either volunteer or come to an event or purchase tickets or be aware of a cause or product or service that we're marketing for clients. So we utilize social media ads heavily. It's very cost effective. You can control your costs with social media ads, and you can really drill down on the target market that you're trying to reach. So absolutely, it's a great tool to use to at least increase that visibility. So I definitely say use social media. And the other thing about social media, people don't understand, you may have 5,000 followers, but if you don't do an ad, maybe only 300 of those followers see what you post. So that's why, and that's how social media make their money, because they kind of force you to do an ad if you really want people to see what it is that you're doing. What are some tips you have to be consistent in visibility? What are your favorite platforms to use? I love Facebook, love Instagram, and one of the reasons why I love Instagram is the hashtagging. Create a hashtag. It's very important. My hashtags are for the company, Mosaic Group, Mosaic on the Move, and Mosaic Group. Those are the two consistent hashtags I use, and I also use your visibility team. So those three hashtags I use for the company. For myself, Ann Marie Sorrell is a hashtag. Chronicles of a Serial Dater is a hashtag. I now have a column with the Miami Times, so the Dating Chronicles is a hashtag, and I recently started hashtag Ask Ann Marie. So having hashtags are very cool because you get to track how you're using it, but then also when other people start using it, you can see how it's trending and how it's tracking, and so that's important. So using hashtags, using social media on a consistent basis, and then any type of events, having other people host events for you or be a guest at someone's event, being a vendor. I've sold more books doing events than I have online. And that's because, one, I haven't started my online marketing campaign as of yet for the book. I've been doing more, let me get my network, let me get my base to buy the book, read the book, give their feedback, their testimonies, all of that. And then I'm going to be using those to launch my online campaigns later this summer. Let's see. Okay, so those are, I know we're short on time. I think we're running out of time now, but thank you so much for tuning in. You can follow me on Facebook at Ann Marie Sorrell. You can follow me on Twitter, Ann Marie Sorrell, and you can follow me on Instagram, A Marie Sorrell. And also check out my book, Chronicles of a Serial Dater, at chroniclesofaserialdater.com. It's also available on Amazon. The audio book will be released next month, so stay tuned for that. AnnMarieSorrell.com will be released next month, so stay tuned for that website. And you can always inbox me or ask me any additional questions that you may have. So thank you so much for tuning in. I really enjoyed this morning. And don't forget all the tips that I gave you about branding, whether it's your personal brand or your company brand.